Special thanks to Anycubic for sponsoring today's video. Welcome to Figure Feedback. My name is Jeremy, and today I'm going to be taking a look at the Anycubic Cobra 4 combo. So, the consumer 3D printing industry has evolved so much in just a couple of years, and most offerings on the market are Core XY machines. And within the last year, we've seen a definite shift towards tool changing and hot end swapping machines. But every now and then, we're treated to a blast from the past, and the Cobra 4 is in that category. Now, don't be mistaken, even though this printer doesn't have the latest and greatest tech, it still churns out some pretty darn good looking prints consistently. And for those who are just looking to get started in 3D printing without spending a bunch of money, this is a printer worth looking into. That's something to keep in mind with the Cobra 4. Anycubic is marketing this printer towards beginners and not hardened experts. It's meant to provide good value for money while taking away some of the pain points that could turn new users away. I personally always felt that getting a few wins under your belt in the form of successful and pretty prints is very important for retention in this hobby, and this printer will help you achieve that. Now, let's start at the top from the perspective of a beginner. This printer comes almost completely assembled, which is great for a bed slinger. What you'll need to do is remove some screws that secure metal brackets and secure the print head to the X-axis rail. Some of those screws are a little bit tricky to get to, but it's not a difficult process to achieve, and you can do so using the Allen keys that they give you in the package. The next steps depends on whether or not you purchase the combo. In case you're not familiar, the Ace 2 Pro is Anycubic's multi-material filament box. You'll need to connect four PTFE tubes to the Ace 2 Pro and guide them through the provided holder on the side of the printer, and then connect the end of those tubes to the adapter that's on the top of the tool head. And then you tidy up the wires with the five-way cable management thingies whose name I forgot. Then you plug in the black cable that connects the printer to the Ace 2 Pro, plug in the power adapters, and turn them both on. And by the way, both the Ace 2 Pro and the printer have their own separate power supplies. Now, once it's on, the printer handles all the necessary calibrations by itself. It'll do auto leveling and vibration compensation during the setup process. And this is all necessary to achieve the perfect first layer promise that Anycubic makes. And as a matter of fact, let's take a look at that now. Here is a first layer test that I did with orange filament, and it came out really good. It's like a solid piece of plastic construction paper, and it doesn't easily rip apart. So, this is a great first layer test in general, and not just a great layer test for a lower priced bed slinger. And that's saying something. In fact, let's go over the price right now. The cheapest place to buy this printer is on AliExpress. There you can get the Cobra 4 for $199, or you can get the Ace 2 Pro with it for $299. Mind you, the Ace 2 Pro is $289 on its own. So if you were considering buying an extra Ace 2 Pro, you might as well just spend $10 more and get a whole new printer with it too. So, as I was saying before, the print quality on the first layer was great, and that sentiment persisted for me really no matter what I printed. This printer is a champion of PLA and PETG filament. Now, TPU printing is possible, but just not through the Ace 2 Pro. Those filaments can be used across a total printing volume of 260 by 260 by 260 millimeters. The maximum speed is 600 millimeters per second, and the maximum acceleration is 20,000 millimeters per second squared. These are not specs we haven't seen before, so like everything else, your actual speeds that you experience most of the time are going to be about half that. The hot end has a max temperature of 300 degrees Celsius, and the nozzle is also hardened steel. It's also easy to remove since it's held in place with just a couple of clamps, so there's nothing to unscrew here. The hotbed can get up to 100 degrees Celsius, and by the way, the build plate on this is magnetic just like everything else, but the magnetism is not as strong as other printers I used. And I wouldn't consider that a bad thing because it lets me align the plate more easily without having to take it off and realign because the magnetism overpowered my grip on the plate. Some other helpful features that this printer includes object skipping, spaghetti detection, power loss resume, filament tangle detection, filament runout detection, and pressure advance. All things we will come to expect in a modern printer released in 2026. You can also go into the settings and turn off some of those features as well. Even though this is a beginner friendly 3D printer, you still have to learn the slicing software. There's just no way around it. Anycubic Slicer is called Anycubic Slicer Next. It's based on Orca Slicer and it looks and functions just like it. This slicer can also sync your filaments back to the slicer and provide you with camera access so you can monitor your prints and perform basic functions remotely. Like I said earlier, the Kobra 4 churns out some very nice print quality for single or multicolor prints. But the trade off with multicolor printing with a single nozzle is the filament purging that comes with it. It can be excessive depending on what you're printing, but that's just how the technology works. I found the filament color changes to be clean and swapping doesn't take an unreasonable amount of time on the Cobra 4, but ultimately it is up to you to decide if the purge waste is worth it. Fortunately, designers of models have been great at splitting parts apart, so you can print everything in different colors. With the Ace 2 Pro, you can preload the filaments that you need for a certain project and immediately start the next print when you're ready. The Ace 2 Pro also has a very handy drying mode that even works when you're actively printing. And this is a very nice feature, especially if you live in humid conditions or plan to print with PETG. The Ace 2 Pro can also read the RFID tags that's on any Cubix branded filament, and that just allows you to quickly sync the recommended filament settings back to the slicer. The Ace 2 Pro also has this built-in hydrometer, so it's able to measure the amount of humidity that's inside of the chamber, and that's usually a good indicator of when you should start drying the filament. And the benefits of drying that filament while you're printing is that you can have less stringing and it can also make your layers just look nicer overall. So that is a really, really great feature to have. And I've actually used that while printing some of these models. And I think they would have looked very good without it, but they definitely look good with it. This is actually my first experience with an FDM printer from Anycubic, and I'm impressed. The Cobra 4 is quiet, it prints reliably, and those prints look really nice. It's a testament to how far we've come in this hobby where only a couple $100 can get you so much value. So if you are interested in this printer, please check out the link in the description, and it'll take you where you need to go to get the best price. That's all for now. Thank you all so much for watching. And until next time, take care of yourselves, and I'll speak to you soon.